Hi everybody, we're back in the Baron. Going to do just some test flying. I've gone into the Bruner yoke software called CLS2SIM, where all the magic's done, and this airplane flies so nice. I wanted to go in there and really look over the software in depth, and got into the part where you set the forces and everything, and it's quite complicated. So I've been through several settings in that particular category and have come up with something I think works pretty good. So we're going to just hand fly this plane. We're in the Florida Keys. We're just going to Key West, to be a matter of fact. We're just going to take off, hand fly. We'll vary the altitudes, occasionally switch on to autopilot. I changed a couple of settings in there, so when I deactivate autopilot, I don't get the big pitch up. So played around a lot of settings, went in real in-depth engineering type stuff in there to get this figured out. It's not really overly complicated, but there is a big learning curve to it. So anyway, let's just that's all I'm doing this video here, is just testing out the profile on the forces. What I used to do in the past was jack up the aircraft speed in there until it felt right, but this time I went in and actually set it for 225 knots, which is red line, and then brought up all the forces. So what's cool is there's droop in the elevator, and so that's about 30 pounds of pressure right there, 30. Some of it's it's actually in Newton meters. So anyway, converted over. That's a pretty good pull right there, and that's really awesome right there. All right, so we'll go ahead and set pressurization. Go up to 5,000. Alright, we'll probably go a little higher, but we'll see. Let's see if I can keep crashing on takeoff here. It's really an awesome airplane. I cannot wait for the TBM 850 to hit the streets. There's 90. A lot of right pedal. We'll start trimming in the rudder. Got it. Flaps up. Trimming the pitch. We'll just ease up on the power. I already know she'll go all the way up to the red line, no problems. So we'll pitch for about 140. We'll continue our trimming. Trim out some of that left row, that right rudder now. So as speed increases, the yoke gets stiffer and the rudders do too. And the trick is finding where to start, how much pressure, and where to end, how much pressure. So once you kind of get it in a zone, then you can kind of dial it in. There's several, about two ways to get your force axis lined up. It's not just go in there and say, you know, this amount of force here. It's curved, and there's some calculating to it. I've done some research and stuff. About the last 50 years, they kind of shoot for a ratio of 2-1-4. So roll at 1, pitch twice roll, and then rudder 4 times roll. So basically you can get the airplane figured out on roll, what you think's right, unless you can get the exact information, which is, I don't know, tough to do. And then once you get that, then you can do some calculating and bring the other numbers in fairly close, and then it's just a matter of feel after that. So anyway, this is strictly hand flying, and I'll announce when I go autopilot. We'll get up to 5,000 for our first altitude. We'll level off. So it's holding the pitch. I'm hardly doing anything with the yoke, just keeping the wings level. Occasional trim. We're getting a little slow in the climb speed, so we'll trim down just a touch. So there's a lot of things to consider. The velocity of the trim plays a key point in level flight, due to the fact you don't want to be chasing the vertical speed indicator all the time. So I added just a slight amount of null in the center, which travels with the trim change. Pretty easy to do. The hard part is finding a starting point for the forces. And once you kind of say, well, you know, is it 2 pounds, and then convert that to Newton meters and start there, and then you say, well, that's too much or not enough, and then you change from there. All right, there's 5,000. Let's start level flight and see how we do. Let's get our crop sync on. Ready to look away. Let's get away. Alright, so start trimming down. Aircraft's gaining speed. Controls are getting a little heavier. Basically, I can put that vertical speed indicator where I want it, and then trim whether I'm pushing forward or back until I can let go, and it's working. It just doesn't happen in 1 or 2 tries. You got to give it a little bit of time, be a little patient. We can trim the ball back in. Off we go. All right. A bit more towards 5,000 level. Clean up that pitch. So I'm finding that for a straight and level flight and a trimmed out aircraft, there's what's called a breakout point, where it takes a little bit of pressure to move out of trim So like you're flying along, inadvertently you touch something, it doesn't go way off, or a lightly pressured aircraft, will be hard to control in turbulence. So I read that there is a breakout point where things seem to kind of stabilize, and then to come out of that. So that's what I'm shooting for here. Alright, so there's our 5,000 straight up, and we're going to go for, there we go. Alright, trim, hands free. Slide, roll, we'll trim just a little aileron lip. Then as she starts to rise up a touch, we'll just push forward, fingertip pressure. Just to be too much, we'll hit the trim button. One quick little press. There we go. So I tend to center the ball first, correct any roll, and then I go in for the hard trim, pitch trim. That takes more work. We're getting up close to our yellow line, so we're going to back off our manifold pressure just a touch. We'll have to retrim. I'm pulling back pressure. Let's see what the plane wants to do. There we go. A little bit of seesawing, which is normal. But I'm just glad to be through all that in the forces section. So there's force factor scaling involved, so it's not just what you see is what you get. You got to go in there and find where the force actually is and what number that kind of gives you, and then increase, decrease to your liking at about 9 different points. So you say at 0 speed I want this amount of force, at 226 knots I want this amount of force, and that's all scaled according to the airspeed. So as I come in to slow down, the forces get lighter on all 3 axes. Really quite neat. This is one of the best hand flying aircraft I have flown in this simulator. Really like what Black Square is doing. So now I've got trim on the yoke with the electric trim switch, plus I have a wheel on the Bravo I can use. They both do the same thing. I can use either one at any time. Like there, I'm rolling the wheel. The cow flaps. Yeah, they're in the right position. A little bump up. So it's just not a constant fight. There is a point you can get to where you can kind of relax. You just kind of keep an eye on things. Plane will not just run away unless there's a good shearing wind. So we got slowed down pretty good. Let's bump that back to 30. Okay. A little more speed, a little more nose trim down. Now, let's turn back around towards Key West. And you're going to find the amount of back pressure needed to hold a stable turn. Overshot a little bit. I'm not going to trim any in the turn. So like if you get 100 off, if you get it down there about a 500, you'll get down there and level off again. Anything less than 250 feet per minute plus or minus, you're not going to overshoot the 100. And turn back the other way. We're going to get a wind change, direction change, see what happens. What the airplane wants. No trimming needed. Feet off the rudders. Hands-free yoke. A little bit of roll left. Fix that. Trim the nose a little. Looking good. Trim a little bit left on the ball. So the question is, can I stand to fly this thing for an hour, hour and a half like this? That's what I'm shooting for. So the pressures feel fine. Starter pedals are stiff, but I still have control. They're not crazy stiff. The roll is relatively light performance-wise, and then pitch is a little heavier. This feels fine. So then if I go into the yellow on the airspeed indicator, it'll get a little bit harder to do, to the point we hit the 225 and then the airplane will start vibrating a little bit and we know we're way over. So I'm good with this profile. It took 7, 8, 9, probably 7 to 10 attempts at the scale. Get some chatter going. 24025. So what I'd like to do is be able to, reach over, do my radios and manipulate stuff and still be off autopilot. Not have the plane just run away. Of course, you have to make little corrections here and there. It's just not overwhelming. I'm not hunting it. We're at 206 on the ground. About 185 indicated.
439, say speed.
439, 225.
So the key, I believe, is a decent flight model, number one. Number two is a little bit of null zone in the center to give yourself a breakout point. And a yoke that feels realistic, not too much force or not enough, real loose. We'll get enough loose coming in at slow speed.
Bravo Kilo, we get descending via the Pink 1, information Romeo. 10 Bravo Kilo, go ahead.
And you want that feeling comfortable up there at the cruise speed that you'll be cruising at. If I go into the caution area, then I expect things to get a little tougher. So we'll fly over Key West again. We'll do a right turn around it this time. Then I'll do an autopilot climb. So that's good enough where I can take a drink of water, 2 hands off of the yoke.
3726 heavy, reduce speed to 230, correction 210. 210.
Ready to touch it with my thumb or something if I need to. It's a nice, relaxed little flight.
Double 888, let me know when you're at 210 knots, please.
Almost there, so 888.
Nice airplane. I found this panel color mod on flightsim.to. I like it a little bit better than the tan.
Transport 3726 Heavy, traffic 12 o'clock, 3 miles northbound, Metroliner 900,000.
Well, up 37.
Absolute pleasure to fly this aircraft right here. And the 414's along the same lines. Man, it flies really well too. The new TBM 930 flies well. I cannot wait for the 850 to come out from Black Square.
Falcon 8 Bravo Kilo.
Be picking that up.
Down to 5,000 now, Falcon 13 Bravo Kilo.
A bit of a bump there. Well, 30 and 23, so if I remember that when I climb up.
Reduce speed to 210, kind of approach 126.6.
210 and 126.6, American 439.
We'll fly around, make a right turn, and then we'll climb 10,000. And this is just awesome. So I need to build up my hand flying stamina for sure. But I'm not going to do it in an aircraft I had to fight the whole way, right?
Air Transport 3726 Heavy, traffic no factor, kind of approach 126.6.
Air Transport 37.
Kind of like being set on autopilot. You're looking for something to do and manipulate. We'll climb a little bit, so we'll just put a little bit of thumb pressure down, drop that needle down just a skosh. Ready for our right turn, try to hold our altitude.
United 237, reduce speed to 230.
Slow to 230, United 237.
Let's come around. And rise a little and then wants to drop.
Falcon 8 Bravo Kilo, flying present hunting back to the final.
Present heading back to final, 1 Cherry Bravo Kilo.
Find that right amount of back pressure. Not bad.
Falcon 8 Bravo Kilo, turn range 350, just to maintain 4,000.
350 down to 4,000, 1 Cherry Bravo Kilo.
Hardest part of hand flying. Got our 5,000. Trimmed out. Hadn't had to touch anything. Right turn.
Falcon 8 Bravo Kilo, confirm sky airborne in sight, 7 o'clock, correction, 3 o'clock, get 10 miles.
Inside.
Hey, call sign with that.
108 Bravo Kilo inside.
108 Bravo Kilo, turn range 050 to join final, pivot approach, runway 7 right.
050 to join, approach 7 right, 1 Cherry Bravo Kilo.
Okay. So let's go ahead and sink our heading bug. Altitude hold. Autopilot. Altitude hold isn't coming on for us. Right on there. Select vertical speed.
36.22.1, descendant speed to Eagle, landing 8 with Sierra.
10,000.
36, approach expect to be to the front for my 8.
Roger.
Climb. We'll go 1,000 feet per minute. Increase that power.
Southwest 1192, reduce speed down to 210.
Come on out, 1,500. Just take a little break.
With 888, turn right into 220.
Heading 220, South 888.
Go ahead and turn the big circle. Stay over Key West. We'll do a
Falcon 108, Bravo Kilo, connect tower.
relatively rapid descent.
One decimal 9, switches.
That's the Naval Air Station.
Hello, approach citation 707, Whiskey 185, descending on the Bruiser 1 with Sierra.
Station 707, Whiskey approach, expected visual approach to runway 8, maintain 280 knots or greater till advised.
280 knots or greater until advised, and is 7 right going to be available?
1,000 to go. So there was one good tutorial on YouTube describing how to go in and set the forces. It took me several watches through that, and then reading the actual CLS2SIM manual portion, and then just getting in and taking that knowledge and starting. Once you kind of set a base and figure out, you know, high, low, and then get that base relatively close for a good starting point, then it's a matter of getting in the aircraft, getting it up here, and feeling it.
Outpost 888, turn left, heading 180.
Heading 180, South 888.
Once we get level, I'll go back to hand flying. We're going to see how it comes off autopilot. Always had that little issue. You deactivate the autopilot and you get a quick nose up or down. Usually it's nose up. We'll pull back our throttles to 30. Riding before.
Rumor 707 Whiskey, rumor 7 right is on request. But
221 knot ground speed, which is very acceptable. We'll fly over that little island there. We'll turn around. Need to practice my right turns. Come in and do a visual into Key West. Put her on the ground. Do just a little taxi. Make sure everything on the ground feels right, which it has.
That was 3175, reduce speed to 210.
Alright, looks like we're stable. Autopilot away. Look at that. Beautiful. So I felt the yoke release that pressure. So it all happened in the yoke and not the nose of the aircraft. That's what I'm looking for. Now I'll trim myself here a little bit. Get stable.
American 767 is coming out of 13,000, descending on the Haida. We have for 7 right, Sierra.
American 767, approach, expect to reach the program, 7 right, maintain 280 knots or greater.
280 or greater, and we'll expect 7 right, American. Let's go.
So I'm just giving quick little clicks on the trim. You can see it move. And I've got that set at a pretty high velocity. I believe it's maxed. So if I need a long trim, I just hold the button and it goes to really rolling. That's just perfect for quick adjustments. I'll tell you what, this flight model, oh my gosh.
Alpha 249 220 descended via the Eagle 6 with Sierra.
Plus 249, approach, expect to reach the approach runway 8.
So it looks like we settled in at a cruise about 180 indicated, 213 on the ground. Quite acceptable. Wasn't even really watching the flight director, just watching instruments. We're doing descent by hand. Press this island and we'll make a right turn. All my years of simming, I've never been able to fly a hand flying aircraft as well as this one.
126.6.
6.6, no, good day.
Really says something for Black Square. So my target is to get all my favorite aircraft, which there are several. There'll be this one, the 310, the TBM 930, the 850 coming, the ATR, the 737, 414, I think I already said that. This is my go-tos. But the way this cockpit looks and everything, this is one of my favorite twins here.
Number 707 Whiskey, traffic 1 o'clock, 2 miles northwestbound, altitude indication.
Let's go for a
right now.
nice level turn.
707 Whiskey, traffic no factor.
Target's 10,000 feet. Hunting for that amount of pressure, back pressure. So this gives me something to do, else to do in the simulator. Go out, practice turns, climbs, descends. A little off target. We'll go ahead and drop her down a little quicker.
497, safe speed.
American 230.
497, maintain until advised, please.
Maintain until advised, American 497.
Airport ahead. We'll get level at 10,000. Start our descent. Plane come back into its trim. The only thing that changed is wind direction. We'll pull some power. See where she wants to ride.
Station 07 Whiskey, reduce speed to 250, then descend and maintain 10,000.
Reducing to 250 knots and then down to 10,000.
2,000 feet, we'll call it good there. Trim till we get that. Alright, away with the flight director. Gaining speed.
Show 58, 67, flight level 210, vicinity information here.
Air Shuttle 5867, approach, expected visual approach to runway 8.
Runway 8.
Trimmed. Descending 180, 200 feet per minute, 2,000 feet per minute. Runway in sight. So be able to keep it right about there and slam on the brakes right at the end. Look for some nice 1-hour flights.
American 767, maintain 250 knots until Tash.
250 to dash, American 467.
$5,000. Line up on that runway a little better.
Approach Southwest 3337 out of 13,000, descending via the Hydro 17 right with Sierra.
Up to 3337, east approach, expected visual approach runway 7 right, maintain 250 knots or greater to Tash.
250 or greater to Tyson Southwest 3337.
So every now and then I'll go back through a piece of software I run and kind of look at settings and just see if there's something else I can pick up or maybe missed. I knew it was a way to go in and do what I did. It was a procedure I wasn't willing to sit down and learn. So like before, instead of messing with all the pinpoint
Whiskey, reduce speed to 210,
exact
descend and maintain 8,000.
points, I opted to Start pulling power. Opted for an easier way, just do some slipping here. Gonna do it.
American 497, reduce speed to 210.
10, 497.
Come on, baby. First lap, gear down. Prop's full, mixture full. Last flap. We got prop sync, but we're good. 100 knot. A little hard. Twins land a little rough unless you stay in the power.
75, contact approach 126.6, checking with your call sign only.
26.6, guys, stay on 35.
Alright, we're not slow enough to attain droop yet. There it goes. Flaps up. Nice. Okay. Mission accomplished. That's an acceptable
497,
profile.
reduce speed to 210.
Yeah, reducing we're at 210, American 497.
I will keep
Thank
that.
you. Kind of
If
approach
there are any
126.6
Bruner users out there
497,
interested in the
checking with your call
profile,
sign.
just comment and I'll consider uploading this to the profile clad there at Bruner. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.